Good morning, everyone. How we doing today? I hope you're having a good morning so far. I know I am. So I'm just going to get right into it, and we're going to talk about today the tabernacle, using the tabernacle as prayer. We're almost through. I know this has been going on for a little while, but I just love it, and I love teaching it to you. So I hope you're getting something out of it. I know you're getting something out of it. So today we're going to continue to talk about the holy place. So if you remember, when we use the tabernacle as a guide for prayer, we go through each piece of the tabernacle and use it in a way to think about God and to pray to Him. So the tabernacle is like, it's the first temple. It was a mobile temple, and they would set it up and tear it down and set it up and tear it down whenever they were on the move. And eventually the temple came, and that was put in place permanently. So the tabernacle. So we enter the tabernacle through the brazen altar. Yeah, the brazen altar. So with the brazen altar, there's a sacrifice giving, and that represents Jesus. Then you go to the brazen bowl, which was filled with water to wash with, and to look into. It was reflective. You could see yourself. So that's inner repentance and inner reflection about coming before a holy God and repenting and getting whatever it is out of our lives that keeps us from having a great relationship with Him. And then after the brazen bowl, you go into the Holy of Holies, and this is the part that we've been on. There's 3 pieces in the Holy of Holies. It represents our soul, and the table of showbread represents our will. The candlesticks, which is what we talked about last time, represents our mind. And then now we are at the altar of incense. Now with the altar of incense, it's again another altar. So it's a sacrifice, but instead of the sacrificing being Jesus, the sacrifice becomes ours as far as what we give to the Lord. So we give our praise, we give our life, we give our talent, our time, we give those things to Him. So in the Bible, whenever it talks about incense, it gives an example of prayer and praise being an incense to God, okay? A wonderful smell to Him. So whenever you praise or pray, it's like you're giving something that smells sweet to Him. And also, incense would represent when people gave, when they were giving something to God. So it represented giving, and it represented praise through prayer. So what we give and what it represents as well is our emotions within our soul. So our mind, our will, and our emotions is what our soul is made up of. And so the incense, burning the incense, represents giving Him our emotions. And the way that we give Him our emotions is through worship. So I don't know about you, but I am a worship junkie. I love worship. And you know, this whole COVID thing, one of the things that I miss so much is that corporate worship, being there at church with everybody, feeling the Lord's presence, feeling everybody else's energy, and hearing that praise go up to Him. There is nothing like it. But what I have been enjoying, and I'm sure you have too, is the worship that they have online, you know, when they have each individual person singing and then they kind of come together as a choir. Wow. Is that beautiful or what? Like, oh, I get emotional, and it's just, it's close. It's close to being together, but it's just, you know, it's just not quite there. There's nothing like corporate worship. Corporate worship is just incredible. So at my house, Sarah Joy, most of you know my daughter, Sarah Joy, she literally turns our house into worship, a place of worship every single morning. She blares that worship music going loud all throughout the house, and I'm telling you, you just feel the presence of God there, and it's beautiful. And you know, we join in with her and we worship in the morning. It's the best thing ever to get up in the morning and just worship him. And you know, it's funny because so the altar of incense is an altar, and they actually brought the coals, the burning coals, from the altar, the sacrificial altar at the beginning, the brazen altar. They take those coals and they put them in the altar of incense, and they keep them burning there. And so now we take the incense and we put them on the altar and we burn them. And you know, they did back then, and it was this sweet smelling perfume smell that would come off the incense, and it represents our emotions, it represents our praise, represents our giving. We give to the Lord. So it's a sacrifice, right? This is what I was getting at. It's a sacrifice. But truly, is it a sacrifice? I mean, whenever, if I'm in a crabby mood, if I'm just not having a good day, I turn on that worship music and I start to worship. That ain't no sacrifice. I mean, because he just fills me. He gives so much back. You know, you can't outgive God. So we'll give him everything. You know, we'll give him our time, our talent. We give him our emotions. We give him our praise. We give him our prayer. We give him everything. But he gives back so much more than we could ever give him. We can never outgive God. And so use that prayer time to come before him with praise and thanksgiving, and watch what he does. Turn the worship music on in the morning during your prayer time. Give him that sacrifice of prayer, of praise, and just watch what he does with your mood, with your mind, with your emotions. You know, when we live our life, there's a lot of people that I've seen, and some people that I've counseled, where they literally live their life by their emotions. And I don't know about you, but that creates this roller coaster, you know, because feelings, they just come and go, you know, and to live your life by your emotions is just foolish. Like we should never live our lives by our emotions. We have to keep our emotions in check. We have to manage that tension of our emotions throughout our life. And we should never make decisions purely on emotions. Bad decisions are made a lot of times when we just make decisions on our emotions. So we need to check when we get really emotional about something. Instead of going and doing something stupid or making silly decisions, we need to check ourselves and ask ourselves, okay, why am I so emotional about this? And what decision am I trying to make? And is this just on emotions, or is this on facts that this is going to be a good decision? You know? So we want to keep our emotions in check. We want to give our emotions over to God. And when I get emotional about something, I'm just like, okay, Lord, help me. Actually, just the other day, I was emotional about something, and I was talking to Sarah, and, just talking it out with her, my emotions were here, and they just kind of came back down here, just by talking it out. And I felt so much better, and then I can think clearer, and then I can make better decisions. So don't make decisions on your emotions. Give your emotions over to God and pray about things and talk to other people that are going to help you bring your emotions down so that you can think clearly. And God gave us our emotions. Our emotions are beautiful. I'm a very emotional person as far as I'm happy a lot and I'm excited a lot. Those are good emotions. And I can get really sad and really upset. And so give those emotions over to God. Surrender them to Him and let Him be in control of your emotions. And ask God when you feel them. He gave them to us for a reason, and it's not bad to feel emotions. At our house, we always say, feelings aren't right or wrong, they just are. But you have to question, why am I having these feelings? What's triggering these feelings? So they're not right or wrong, they're just feelings. It's what you do with those feelings. Do you make decisions, rash decisions out of those feelings? Don't do it. Think about it, pray about it, talk to someone about it, and give your emotions over to God. I know there's a lot of fear. That was another thing too that Sarah did for me. We have another saying, sow a man's anger, so is his fear. So a lot of times when the anger comes, it's really because you're fearful of something. A lot of times it's because you're afraid of something, so you get angry. So Sarah asked me, I was angry, and Sarah asked me, Mom, what are you angry about? What are you afraid of? And when she said that, I thought right away, when you're angry and somebody asks you that question, what are you afraid of? You're like, I'm not afraid. It's like, and then I sat and thought about it. What am I afraid of? What am I afraid of? And I kept asking that question, and it really helped to calm me down a little bit, because I'm like, I'm so angry, but what am I afraid of? Why am I angry? What's scaring me? And that really helps. That really, really helps. And I do that for myself a lot of times too. If I find myself angry, I ask myself, what am I afraid of? Sometimes Sarah has that place in my life that she can ask me, what are you afraid of? But I don't always ask people that question because it just makes them angrier. But Sarah and I have a great relationship, and she can ask me those questions, and I can ask her those questions. So, but anyways, so give your emotions over to God. Surrender them to Him, lay them on that altar. Any kind of fear and anger that creeps up, give it over to Him. Ask God to help you with your emotions, to help you not make decisions in an emotional rush, but to be level-headed and to manage your emotions well. And He does. He will help you. He really will help you with your emotions. So thank you so much for being with me today and listening. I hope this was helpful, and we will see you again next week. Bye.